Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with an action figure that I have been impatiently waiting to review. Today we're going over the Storm Collectibles Injustice Gods Among Us Lobo. And this thing is so beautiful. I know you can't tell right now because when they send their figures in the packaging, they're wrapped in plastic, for lack of a better term. So we can't really see them well yet, but we will in a moment. If you guys want to pick this up, please, as I always say, first and foremost, support your local comic shop and see if someone's traded one in. That's how I found my Bane, which we will be going over. If not, at the time of this recording, I see that there's one left on the Storm's Collectible Amazon shop. So if you want this figure, I suggest, getting the lead out and go getting the main man. Speaking of which, you can see here at DC, Storm's Collectibles Injustice Gods Among Us Lobo. Come around to the top. Same fancy logo there. Come around to the side, not much there other than the saying what it is. Come around to the back, and I like how it kind of gives you a very nice elaboration of all the accessories, so I'll make sure to get a close-up of that. Same with the read-up. Come around to this side, and you get a relatively decent-looking product shot of the figure. Come around back to the front, nothing on the bottom. So with that said, let's get this bad mamma jamma out of the packaging. And here's Lobo out of the packaging, and my God, guys, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Now, I will say, and this breaks my heart to say, that, I've already had it out of the packaging, working with it, and there's already one thing that chaps my ass, and we'll get into it in a moment. Kind of woo sign, taking that off and just looking at this thing posed like this, I can overlook it. So what am I talking about? Let's go ahead and get this overall gorgeously beautiful figure off the stand and get a closer look at him. The main man was born on the utopian planet of Czarnian, and he works as an interstellar mercenary and bounty hunter. He has one rule. Once he takes a contract, he finishes it no matter what, even if it means risking injury. If he does have a counter contract for even more money, then he'll fulfill the new one. He was created by Roger Sulphur and Ken Giffen, I believe is how you pronounce their names. His first appearance was Omega Man number 3 from June 1983. Lobo is hired by the Citadel to kill the Omega Man. When he feels his contract is being violated by the Citadel, he in turns helps the Omega Man. His original origin was he was a Valorpian whose entire race had been exterminated by Scions, though this was later, retconned after Crisis on Infinite Earths. Depending on who was writing him, his powers are super strength, healing factor, and like Logan, Wolverine, enhanced scent for tracking. Post-Crisis writers began using Lobo as kind of like a parody of the 90s grim and gritty super stories, and that's how we get the version that we all know. Because what happened is the 90s version, as he just said, was intended to be like satire of Wolverine, but he was instead accepted by fans of the gritty trend. And his name, Lobo, essentially translates to he who devours your entrails and thoroughly enjoys it. And that just sounds like something that would be a Cannibal Corpse record. And his new origin was he's the last of his kind as he committed genocide by killing all the other Czarnians for fun, unleashing a violent plague of flying scorpions upon his home, killing most of them. Now, this version that we're going over, the Injustice, Superman hires Lobo to hunt down Harley Quinn. And though the book is actually really hilarious because you're thinking Lobo versus Harley Quinn, but don't be fooled, my friends. It turns into a huge slugfest between the main man and Ms. Quinzel. Now, the last couple of things about Lobo is we're not going to talk about the new 52 Lobo, who looks like Twilight Lobo. Thankfully, that was retconned, and this version of Lobo was brought back during Rebirth. The last one that I will highly recommend, and I think is hilarious, and I need to get another copy, is make sure you read Lobocop. That's right, Lobocop. That's all I'm going to say about it. And with that said, let's look at the accessories that he comes with. And the first thing that I do want to address, and maybe you guys can help me. Once I got these out of the packaging, So he comes with 3 heads. And I found out, well, first off, when I got the pack open, I saw that he had an extra hair. And at first I thought, I was like, is this supposed to be like a murdered version of Cousin It? But no, it's a hairpiece. And then upon exploring, there's a kind of a peg, as you can see there. You can take the hair off. Now, what I don't understand is if you look at all the hair pieces that he comes with, they, for the most part, other than like having the bangs and whatnot, I feel like they all relatively look the same. So I don't know. I mean, it's a cool addition, and if you want like a bald Lobo, but you have to deal with that peg. So it's cool, I suppose. At least it's something, you know what I mean? Speaking of the head sculpts, we'll go over this one first. This is kind of the more, I guess you'd say, Mr. Serious face, but paint apps, gorgeous overall. And if I could actually focus, you guys could see that. But I mean, look at the details on the face. The paint apps on the head look great. Love that tone of shade of red that they used for the eyes. Gorgeous work there. And then the same with the hair. Even though it looks like a wet dog, you know, that's Lobo. That's how his hair starting in the 90s always looked. So can't complain too much about that. The next head sculpt's more of just a grinning version, which Lobo does in his arrogance have a tendency to smile like this all the time. I like this head sculpt a lot. But I think overall the one that I really do like and will probably keep 90% of the time is the smiley face with the cigar. That's badass. Now, downfall is the look. It looks like his cigar was drilled into his face instead of looking like he's actually chomping on it. And this being Storm's Collectibles, I don't know what possessed him to go that route. C'est la vie, but I like that one a lot. Speaking of cigars, he does come, I don't know if that one breaks out or if you want to put one in his hand, but he does come with an extra cigar. I don't want to take it out of the plastic because I don't want to risk losing it. But it looks like a stogie. And I may use this one for my Ben Grimm for my Fantastic Four, so that's awesome. He comes with several sets of hands, so they're very well done. Now these are kind of attached to his hands here, so here's the punching hand, more the gripping hand. Love the work on the leather. Skin tone. Looks good, has that nice kind of alien gray about it, looks good. Does come with some trigger hands for a shotgun, which we'll go over in a moment. Good stuff there. And then more like a resting hands, which I will say the resting hands, these actually fit on the trigger finger of the shotgun a lot better. So I don't get it. Here's his shotgun. I love that. Boom! You know, I could use a little more gunmetal gray, but that's okay. And I like the fact that they actually gave you weapon storage for this thing. So you flip the main man around, and you have to be careful because this is a loose plastic and you don't want to rip it. But at least this way, you can stuff it in his ass and just go about his day. So that's awesome. I'm always thankful that we get weapon storage in that regard. Last thing, in terms of accessories, well, 2 things. Love the meat hook. Just the way that they did the silver on that is gorgeous. I like the way it reflects. It does come with real chain. As you can see, there's a stopping point for it. And the reason being is it actually comes with chain, which is exactly what the Batman Who Laughs should have came with for his Robins. But again, you know, cheap bastard. Just kidding. It does come with a necklace attachment. And this is where you'll connect the meat hook. Just be careful. That thing, to get it open, I'm not going to do it on camera, is a son bitch. So just be careful. But the chain overall gorgeous. Now on to the main man himself. The paint apps are absolutely astounding on this figure, and I have no real gripes. I wish his chest was a little bit more beefy, but you know, it is what it is, and can't complain. Because I'm used to every time I see Lobo from the 90s, he's always super swole. And as you can see in the musculature on his arms, it looks good. The leather jacket, the gun bandolier, the musculature on his abs, belt. Now, speaking of belt, real quick, I'm a little pissed off at the belt, and this is what I was talking about a minute ago. So if you try to hike his leg up to do like that rock pose that I did, his stupid pouch popped off right there. I shouldn't have to worry about this shit. This should have went through some quality control. That is bullshit. Thankfully, it does have a little hole. I can line it up and probably glue it back later. Unless they're supposed to pop off. If so, if anybody has this figure, let me know. But the minute I saw that, I went, oh, come on. I shouldn't have to worry about this shit when I'm trying to articulate a figure. Anyway, that aside, skull looks beautiful. It's all soft plastic, as you can see, so you will have to be careful. Pouches look good. All the 90s pockets. I'm a little sad that the grenades are attached to his leg. I was like, oh, well, it is what it is. Love the skulls on the legs. That's just super yummy. That gunmetal gray. And of course, these bad mamma jammas on here, the metal tips, be careful, they do poke. Learned that the hard way. And I like how back of his jacket says, "Bite me, fanboy." So I like that he has his own cut leather, skull, flames, text, all looks absolutely amazing. Spikes on the shoulders. As you can see, blues, nice whitewash and gray all the way around. Black wash on the boots with the silver. Overall, minus, you know, the loosely held on stupid pouches, the paint apps and the, you know, I guess you can call it decals like that or whatever you want to call it, absolutely astounding. I'm in love with the way it looks. One thing that I thought was really cool that I forgot to mention just a moment ago is when you take the arms off, so let's get a focus instead of it looking all blurry. So if you pop the hand off, this badass piece does come off, so let's talk about this for a minute. And I don't know, I like how it's just super sci-fi-y. I know, I make up my own words. But yeah, it's soft rubber. I just love the way that looks, and it just adds that element of badassery to Lobo. So again, slide it back on, get that focus because, yeah, reasons. And then you just pop the hand back on, and boom, yummy. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. And the articulation on this guy is not so bad for a big, bulky dude. So head, he's on a dumbbell joint, look down about that much. And then the hair is kind of softer, so when he looks up, not too bad. Head, that way, and you do get an area of play on it, so I'm thankful for that. Arms spin 360. Do go out that way, upper bicep swivel, about single jointed elbows, which he's a big guy, I understand, so you can get the hand that way. And then these are all in ball joints like the McFarlane toys, but they're not, for whatever reason, they're not as irritating as McFarlane. So up, down, 360, can turn that way, and then I like that for the ab crunch and whatnot, he has 2 points, so he can actually do it at the solar plex and at the waist. So you get him here. I mean, look at that, almost 90 degrees, using both the ab crunch and the stomach crunch. Kind of the same thing at the back crunch. The only downfall is you can kind of see the gaps in the piece. So You know, you take some, you lose some. You do have to kind of readjust that belt. So you have to kind of play with it a little bit. But see, once you get it back, it's not too bad. Legs, minus if that piece pops out, it can kick out that much. And look at that. You paying attention, Hasbro? Soft butt flap. Look. Not hard. Not hard at all. He does have single jointed knees. Does have a very, well, thigh swivel. McFarlane, take notes. Downfall is no boot swivel, so it's kind of like shit. Foot can go up that much. Foot can go down that much. Does have the toe pivot and the ankle rocker. Not too bad. Let me kind of focus that again because, yeah. So as you can see, burp, burp, burp. Good stuff all around on the articulation. You know, bigger guys, you have to kind of understand why they do single jointed because I don't know. Let me know if you know down in the comments. But I'm thankful for the range that we get. I can't complain. So great articulation. For comparisons, Wade demanded that he be Molly Ringwald. So I had to go with the whole Breakfast Club theme here. As you can see, here's the little scamp himself, the Sauron Build-A-Figure Wave X-Men Deadpool. Still one of my favorites that we've gone over. These are the DC Directs, Night Owl and Rorschach from the Snyder Watchmen movie, which we will get into these absolutely gorgeous pieces. This Superboy is from the Man of Steel line. I think it was Kenner. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. And then this gorgeous piece, the Marvel Legends Walmart exclusive Doctor Strange. I love that thing. We just recently went over that. Make sure to check out the video. And then, of course, Lobo had to go the way of what's his name? Jed Hurst? Was that the one that played the Rebel? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think I'm right. But in order for him to at least get on a level playing field, he actually had to crouch down into onto one knee to even get on the same level as Rorschach. And he's standing, Superboy standing there. Look at how teeny this thing is. And then Stephen Strange over here, the only way that he's able to kind of get on the same eye level is, sitting there doing his Vishanti thing on a rock. And then Wade's just like, whatever, I'm the star of this thing. And then Night Owl, he's a little bit bigger, but, again, you can tell just by doing these type of poses. I think Lobo, again, I don't measure, but I think he's somewhere around 8 inches. So he's one big mammoth compared to your regular 5 and 6 inch figures. And of course, I know this isn't 3 3/4, but that's about the closest that I have on me at the moment. And of course, if we had like Star Wars or G.I. Joes, those things would be teeny in terms of, scaling. But nonetheless, that's what Lobo, the main man's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a mammoth dude that can, go toe-to-toe with Superman. All these figures are going to look great on a shelf together. Let me know what you guys think of Let me know what you guys think of each of them. Down in the comments below. This is a gorgeous figure, y'all. And even though it is from Injustice, to me, this is one heck of a very well-detailed, comic-accurate Lobo. The one thing that Storm Collectibles does need to learn is their flimsy stuff is flimsy, and that's why I was talking about I get pissed off when I was just trying to hike his leg up and that pouch popped off. That is not okay. We should not, just to emphasize this again, we should not have to deal with that crap. We should be able to hike the leg up and not have to worry about this crap popping off. That said, letting that slide, overall gorgeous figure, and I'm super thankful that I picked it up. I've been wanting a Lobo, and this is the one I wanted, so I got it. If you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, please, first and foremost, support your local comic shop and see if anybody has traded one in. If not, then, hopefully Storm's Collectibles will get some more in, so we shall see. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little main man bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.